Hey everybody, it is Cam here. This is going to be a mid-month roundup episode. I know that I said initially I wasn't even going to do beginning of the month episodes. That was received well though. I had several comments saying that a beginning of the month episode is better than an end of the month. So I will keep that one. And the reason that I'm going to do this mid-month one is that I ended up deviating quite a bit from my original TBR. That I'm having a couple of issues, so I just wanted to discuss what I'm doing, what I did instead of the original TBR, and how I'm going to, fix the books that I initially said I was going to read. So I started off the month. I finished up those last two SPIFBO 9 finalists, and just this morning, and this is the 16th that I'm recording this. I'll put it out on the 17th or 18th. I've put out my SPIFBO Roundup episode. If you want to watch that one, you can see my thoughts on all 10 of the books and where I think the competition, who's going to win, what my favorites were, and whatnot. So I did those first two SPIFBO books and the Roundup. I got those out as of the time of recording of this. So after I got done with the SPIFBO stuff, then I mentioned that I was going to, for my classic book of the month, was going to read Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, the first book in the Farseer Trilogy. Well, I absolutely loved it. I could not put the book down. It was a hard 10 out of 10 for me. It is going to be on that end of the year list of my favorite books of the year. Just loved it. I loved everything about it, from the main character all the way through to the world and all of that stuff. So then I decided I was going to read book 2. Turns out Royal Assassin was even better than Assassin's Apprentice. I mean, it is going to be up there, my top 3 favorite second books of any series ever, which actually is funny because I've always talked about how normally book 1 is always my favorite book in a series. I had one book and one book only, the second book in the Ash and Sand series by Richard Nell, that was where my second book was. That was the pinnacle. Well, in the last couple of months now, basically about a 30-day period, I read The Seven Kennings, the second book, Blight of Black Wings, and now Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. And both of those books now are going to be right there with the second Ash and Sand book in my, favorite second books of all time. It actually has inspired me. I'm going to put out here in a week or two another episode that I'll be recording right after this. That is my favorite second books in a series of all time. And I'm still kind of working on the name, but basically where the second book is the best book in the series, I'll figure out the title so that it doesn't sound stupid or have a 10-word title. We'll figure it out. But I really enjoyed it. So of course, once I had that one read, then I was going to read book 3 to finish off the trilogy. I am going to stop right there with that third book, and then I'll move on. And maybe around April, I'll read the second trilogy, the Live Ship Traders. And of course, those are the first 2 trilogies in the much larger realm of the Elder Links. So that kind of blew up my TBR. It doesn't help that book 2 was 650 pages long, and book 3 is 870 pages long. So, that's adding on another whole book, including, not just those 3 as far as most books in the, 300 to 400 page range. So currently I'm reading The Seeds of War by Giles Silva, and I'm going to get that one finished, but I might be taking a little bit longer than I intended to. As someone that loves to read, play video games, all that kind of stuff, I have just garbage eyes. Ever since I was a kid, I've worn glasses since I was 7 years old, and all the way up until my early teens, I had to wear this weird headgear deal. It had a thing that kept my focus in the middle, and it would strengthen the inner muscles of my eyes, because for some reason the inner 2 muscles aren't as strong as the out muscles I have. So which would lead me to some eye fatigue, especially as my eyes were trying to stay focused how they're supposed to. And so occasionally I would have to wear that headgear all the way up until I was about 12, 13 years old. And then for a good solid 20 years, I never had to worry about it again. It didn't bother me. Sometimes if my eyes get tired, I would just switch to glasses and it wouldn't be a big deal. Well, in the last 2 or 3 years, I've gotten old, apparently. I am in my 40s now, and my eyes, all of the issues I had when I was young, they've come back. And so I've been feeling a lot of eye strain and a little bit of dizziness. It's not real true vertigo, but where I just feel like it's hard to focus and you kind of get that little weird, almost like an inner ear issue without having an ear infection or anything like that. And so I've decided I need to take some time and slow down. I'm going to take a week probably to finish the Seeds of War. And then after I do that, we'll see how my eyes are feeling. I can switch to glasses and that's better. But the problem is my prescription is so strong. We're talking like 20/20 is perfect vision. 20/200 is considered like legally blind without corrective vision, and I'm at like 20/400, so like twice as bad, right? So I can't see anything without my glasses or my contacts. For some reason, wearing my glasses has always, in the last couple of years, I've developed an astigmatism too. I'm getting old. I'm just falling apart here. And with my astigmatism, sometimes my contacts are a lot better to wear with that because it stays on your eye. You don't have to worry about that weird focal point being off. And so the last year or so before I switched to contacts again, my glasses really bug me if I'm doing too much. And so because of that, I'm just going to try not to read or play video games quite as much. Or I'll probably not play any video games, but it's just so hard for me not to read. Even reading an audiobook, I do okay in the tractor, but right now I'm not working because of the weather. And so I just will sit there and I don't know, I've just never been good at just sitting and reading an audiobook, or I've never been good at just sitting still and listening to an audiobook when I'm at home or something like that. I'm in a tractor, I'm a captive audience at that point. So we'll just see, where at the end of this week, where my eyes are, if don't read too much and take that whole week to read The Seeds of War. Then I'll also try to make sure that this month of January, I get City in the Dragon's Eye by Jordan Loyle Short done. It was an ARC that I received, and it comes out in the beginning of February, so I would like to make sure that I get that taken care of. And then speaking of ARCs, I have the Silverblood Promise, as well as this. I'm going to just look at this because I keep on getting screwed up here. The Storm Beneath the World by Michael R. Fletcher. I don't know why that was so difficult for me to remember. But that one is also releasing in February. And I think Silverblood Promise is farther out than February, maybe more like March or April. But I want to get all three of those arcs taken care of. So I'm actually going to push the rest of my stuff back and make sure that I get those 3 books done. The Michael R. Fletcher one was supposed to be a February read. And since it's releasing in February, I'm going to, put that one back up to 3rd. So that is going to push The Way of Eden or Edan by Philip Chase back. It's going to push back the Ben Collins book as well. And those will get done in February still. But I had 9 books on my list for my January TBR, thinking that since I have so much time, to read, that I was going to be able to get them all done. But once I blew up my TBR with that, the Farseer Trilogy, especially with the length of the books, then it was kind of one of those things where I really, screwed up, especially like once I was doing so much reading and my eyes started bothering me. Then once I had to cut back, then I was just never going to get everything done. So I apologize to the authors whose books are going to get pushed back. Some of them pretty close to a month from where I initially planned on. But at this point, I want to get those books that I received ARCs, especially the Silverblood Promise is I think an Orbit book or a HarperCollins, something like that. But the other 2, the Michael R. Fletcher one and the one from Jordan Loyle Short, they're books that that I've talked with the authors about, and I've known Michael R. Fletcher and his works for a long time, and so I definitely want to get those taken care of. The other books are all already out, and so I'm not completely throwing everything off because of that. I probably will also put the Justin Lee Anderson, The Bitter Crown. I might put that one on there as well. It was released in December, but Justin actually sent me that copy of that book, and Orbit sent me later afterwards, they sent me the digital copy, so now I can read it both in the digital copy and have that physical copy, and so I'll probably get that one done as well. So I'm kind of just cheating. I'm kind of throwing everything up and basically screwing up my whole TBR, but I want to get those 4 books done. I'm hoping that it won't take me more than 2 weeks to read those. So we're talking this last week of January. Hopefully, I'll get that Jordan Loyal short one, and then hopefully the first week of February. Between those two, I'll get those 4 books done, and then we'll get back to my list. If everything works out, my eyes feel okay, and I can get all these books read, then hopefully my TBR is really only pushed back out 2 weeks from where I initially planned to be. We'll see how that ends up being. And like I said, I guess I'm just getting old. I've always had some sort of eye issues since, I had to start wearing glasses. And then I also have a viral eye infection, which has plagued me for, a good solid 22-ish years now. I got it way back when I was a teenager. And it's caused some scarring in my eyes, which is a big part of the reason why I have never been able to actually fix my vision and get either LASIK or the whatever the other one where they scrape the lens. Because of that eye infection, I've never been a candidate for that. There is actually basically cataract surgery that has a lens now that's designed for people with this viral eye infection I have. But the problem with it is that they don't want to do it quite yet because it will cause me to become farsighted, and I'll have to wear reading glasses at that point. So I'm going to try to wait another year or two to where, when I actually need my reading glasses. And once that's the case, then I'll get that surgery done. It's not very cheap, and it's not one that is considered like medically necessary for my, eye vision, my eye insurance to cover. So definitely not something I want to do before I really need to. But that's enough rambling now. I hope that you guys are enjoying the channel, and go ahead and give me any of your thoughts and comments on anything that I've read so far or that you want me to read moving forward. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful month. Thank you.